If you've been on Instagram recently, you've probably seen videos like this. Jacked, sweaty people pushing sleds and running laps around a warehouse. This is HYROX, the fitness race that's taken over the world. The format is simple. You run 1 kilometer 8 times, and in between each lap, you do a straightforward but brutal functional exercise. And this simplicity has driven insane growth. In under a decade, HYROX has gone from 650 people in a Hamburg hall to a projected 1.5 million participants in 2026. HYROX the business is expected to do $270 million in revenue this year, up from $130 million in 2025. And along the way, they've built one of the most viral social media cults in the world. I mean, if you didn't post about HYROX, did you even do HYROX? And the founders have even greater ambitions.
By the way, Olympic sport in 10 years, 100%. Promise you.
So I had a few questions. How did HYROX start and how has it blown up so rapidly? Could it actually be in the Olympics one day? And most importantly, are you allowed to wear a shirt? My name is Saurav Rizwood and this is Playbook. I tell the stories of business and sport icons. Today's story starts in 2015 with Moritz Furste, known as the Cristiano Ronaldo of field hockey. He'd already won 2 Olympic golds for Germany and was training for his final games in Rio. But he knew his hockey career had an expiry date.
Finishing your career, your athletic career, your sports career is really a little bit like dying. Nothing is as it was before. So you need to have a plan. I wouldn't even call it plan B. You need to have a plan A.2 while you're playing.
So Mo started a part-time job in advertising and worked on a bid to bring the 2024 Olympics to Hamburg, his hometown. The bid ended up failing. But in the process, Mo met this guy, Christian Toetzke. Christian was a vet of the sports events game, having organized massive cycling tournaments across Europe. And he had this gut feeling.
In the world of fitness, you have all these millions of people that go into the gym, but there were no competitions existing where you really do what you really do in the gym. So we thought this is a massive void in the world of sport.
So Christian called up Mo and pitched him an event that would serve these hybrid rock stars, or HYROX. Side note, I'm very glad they used that abbreviation. They convinced 650 people to take part in the first HYROX in Hamburg in 2017. And it was a hit.
What I saw was just that pure joy of those only 650 people that were trying to finish the race. I remember that I never from that moment on really doubted that this is going to work.
After that, the growth was pretty instant. Each successive event in Germany doubled the participant base. And expansion to the UK also went really well.
First event ever in the UK, Birmingham, 650 people. 4 events later, London, 8,000.
But just as things were starting to look really good, COVID hit. For an event based on in-person mass participation, this very well could have been the end. But they managed to survive. They moved to virtual workouts and kept sending email newsletters, and even offered up their facilities as COVID testing centers. This all paid off in their first post-COVID race in London in 2022. It was the first race they'd ever sold out, and since then it's been up and to the right. Today, HYROX does over 120 events in 34 countries. Demand is so high that they've had to introduce ticket lotteries. In London last year, there were 70,000 applications for just 16,000 tickets. Most importantly, they've managed to crack the lucrative American market. And it hasn't been easy, thanks to the popularity of CrossFit. But the real turning point was their first race in New York. They sold out 8,000 tickets for the iconic Pier 76 race. And this year they sold 55,000 tickets in under an hour. HYROX now has a full Grand Slam style circuit with 6 majors and an annual World Championships. And underneath all of this is a very legit business. HYROX expects to make $270 million in revenue in 2026. And that comes from 4 sources. The first and biggest one is tickets, accounting for around 70%. On average, they charge $130 for entry fees, which is not cheap, but also not crazy, similar to half marathon entry prices. The next 10% comes from merch. They sell shirts and shoes designed by Puma, and also do all your standard event upsells, like photo and video packages. The next 10% is sponsorships, with companies like Red Bull, Puma, and Chris Hemsworth's Center getting in on the action. And the last 10% is affiliate gyms. In the early days, this was actually the reverse. HYROX would pay gyms to market the races to their members. But HYROX quickly got so popular that gyms now pay HYROX for the privilege of becoming an official training club. Now, HYROX doesn't disclose exact profitability, but my napkin math tells me it's pretty good. In 2025, Mo said that they break even on event setup costs at around 1,500 signups, with the average event being closer to 8,000 participants. That implies around 80% gross profit margins, which is pretty fantastic for an events-based company. We can think about HYROX's growth in two ways. The first is broader market forces, and the second is smart internal decisions. Let's look at those market forces first. We're in the middle of a personal wellness and self-optimization boom. Run clubs are the new dating apps, Gen Z doesn't drink anymore, and Brian Johnson is a mainstream celebrity. In this video, which I highly recommend, Charlie Chats traces the roots of this self-optimization movement all the way back to the rise of neoliberalism in the 80s. We've moved to a world where your self-worth is tied to how hard you work, and which of your attributes you can sell on the free market. HYROX benefits massively from this, because it's a very visible signal of all the things we now value as a society: individual achievement, discipline, rigor, and frankly, looking hot on Instagram. Speaking of Instagram, HYROX's growth would have been impossible in a pre-social media world. It's an event that's designed to be shared and talked about. In fact, it's so viral that Mo said that they haven't spent a single dollar on ads. And interestingly, the growth hasn't come from mega influencers.
At the beginning, of course, we tried through partners of ours that would send us a couple of influencers, celebrities that would post for us. Didn't sell a single ticket. The small gym guy with 4,000 followers posted something and sold 100 tickets for us.
Lastly, we're all living through a global loneliness epidemic. We crave community, and HYROX provides exactly that. You can run races with a friend or as a team of 4. And getting invited by a mate is probably the most common gateway into HYROX. This is my friend Dan, who's about to run his first HYROX race. Here's what he had to say about the community.
Normally, I'm quite, with running stuff, pretty independent in how I do my training. But given it was my first time doing something like this, I've signed up to both the One Playground HYROX classes and the DFT ones. And yeah, honestly, people have been, I'd say, broadly speaking, super friendly there. I've been getting tips from people who've done it before. There was kind of saying, hey, a week where we need to do kind of a full simulation. And it's I was just able to team up with someone else there who, kind of also needed a partner and just kind of happy to give it a crack.
I've been a bit tongue-in-cheek about the whole no-shirt fitness bro thing, but I actually think the community that they're building is really quite special. So in a lot of ways, HYROX started at the right place at the right time. But they've also made some very smart decisions. The first is really investing in the athlete experience. What makes HYROX special is the brand and spectacle around it. They've set it up so that each athlete feels like an Olympian.
We always said we want to set up a $200,000 event that looks like a $2 million event. The people that get in there, we want them to feel like they're Olympic athletes.
Secondly, Mo and Christian have chosen to scale slowly. They had 70,000 applications for 16,000 tickets in London. They could have sold way more tickets, but scarcity breeds value. It's the same principle at the heart of luxury brands like Hermes and Rolex. They could also charge way more than $130 per ticket, but really don't want to burn the trust they've already built up.
We're not raising the price to $300 in New York because you want to keep the community engaged.
Then you come to the standard format. Every race is the same, no matter whether you're in Sydney, Stockholm, or Singapore. This helps on 2 levels. Firstly, it keeps operational costs low. They reuse all the same equipment and can set up a race in 36 to 48 hours, which enables those 80% gross margins we talked about before. And secondly, it creates one global HYROX scoreboard. The insight that Mo and Christian had is that data and competition drives retention in sport. When you cross the finish line, the first question people ask is, what was your time? And you have a desire to keep coming back and keep improving on that time just a little bit.
My original goal was hey, just be under 130. I'd probably say hey, ideally aiming for, if I can, under 125, and under 120 would be amazing. So honestly, you're probably leaning towards giving it another crack off this one. So I'm doing mixed doubles this time around. I'd consider maybe doing men's doubles for a future one, and then maybe have a crack at solo.
Lastly, HYROX has been designed to have a very low barrier to entry. The exercises are tough, but they're also simple. Nothing like the kipping pull-ups and Olympic weightlifting required by, say, a CrossFit. 50% of participants are women, which is pretty uncommon in this kind of fitness endurance industry.
Like, I think when I first looked at HYROX, I'm like, oh my God, I was worried, oh my God, there's a 150 kilo sled push, 100 kilo sled pull. And then I think if you've like come from running background, what you start to realize is like, HYROX is kind of like, it's like a running race that has some lifting.
And of course, I had to ask the million-dollar question. Do you get disqualified if you wear a shirt?
So good. Yeah, it is funny like how I feel like the culture is not to wear a shirt. So, geez, I guess we got to do it.
So what's on the horizon for HYROX? I think the obvious answer is more events and bigger events. HYROX has been more than doubling in revenue each year, and I can see this continuing for a little while. I also do think that HYROX has a real shot of becoming the next Olympic sport, which would be a fantastic full circle moment for Mo. They're lobbying to have it as a test event at Brisbane 2032, with HYROX acting as official qualifiers. I think the IOC would love to have all these eyeballs on their event as well. It's the same thing that happened with bouldering and rock climbing. It became a huge sport globally, and the Olympics started including it. The other thing which I think is missing from HYROX is media deals. If there's one thing I've learned from looking at the IPL, Manchester United, and FIFA, it's that broadcasting is where the big bucks are. Individual creators are already getting millions of views across Instagram and YouTube, and there's some real characters at the heart of the sport. I could really see a Drive to Survive style series taking off on Netflix. Stepping back, I think we're still well on the ground floor of HYROX. And I can't lie, all this research has made me really want to sign up. Well, as I enter my late 20s, it was either that or a triathlon. So we'll see what comes next. Thanks for watching episode 5 of Playbook. It would mean the world if you could like, comment, and subscribe. It really supports the channel. Let me know what business or sports story you want to hear about next.